Have you ever had that quiet, nagging feeling that something in your life doesn't quite belong to you? That the routines, expectations, and roles you've adopted might actually be borrowed from someone else's script? Many of us go through life wearing masks, playing parts defined by family, culture, or circumstances, and believing that our external achievements are what give life meaning. But there comes a turning point when the true journey begins, not outward in accomplishments or status, but inward toward understanding who we really are. Life, in its deepest sense, starts when you wake up to your inner world. It begins when you stop being driven only by what others expect, the job you should have, or the success you're told to pursue, or the identity you've been conditioned to accept. Instead, you start asking the harder questions. What are my genuine values? What parts of myself have I ignored or suppressed? What does authenticity feel like for me? This shift isn't a trivial change in thinking. It's a transformation in how you relate to yourself. It requires introspection, courage, and a willingness to confront the less comfortable aspects of your psyche, the fears, doubts, and shadows that have long shaped your behaviour from behind the scenes. Many spend years building reputations and collecting accolades, yet remain strangers to their own hearts. The life that begins when you find yourself is marked by deeper awareness and self-responsibility rather than external validation. Authenticity doesn't mean perfection. It means embracing all parts of yourself, your strengths and vulnerabilities, and making choices from a place of inner truth rather than habitual reaction. This process can be unsettling at first because it often challenges deeply held beliefs and forces re-evaluation of long-held goals. But it also opens the door to greater fulfillment, resilience, and connection with your own inner purpose. When you begin to listen inwardly, rather than constantly look outward for answers, life unfolds with richer meaning and direction. You discover that true growth comes from aligning your actions with your core self, not just with what looks good on the outside, and in that alignment, life no longer feels like a journey directed by others, but a path you are actively shaping with intention and self-awareness. In essence, life starts when you stop merely existing according to expectations and start living in alignment with your own inner truth. That's when your choices reflect your deepest self, and when every moment becomes an opportunity to deepen your understanding of who you truly are. And yet, this awakening rarely happens all at once. It unfolds quietly, often during moments of stillness, exhaustion, or disappointment. Sometimes it arrives when you achieve what you once wanted and realize it didn't bring the peace you imagined. Other times, it emerges during loss, when familiar structures collapse and you are left alone with yourself. In these moments, life strips away distractions and forces you to listen. Listening to yourself can feel unfamiliar at first. Many people have spent so long reacting to external demands that their inner voice sounds faint or confusing. You may mistake fear for intuition or comfort for truth. This is part of the process. Finding yourself requires patience. It means learning the difference between what soothes your anxiety and what genuinely nourishes your soul. As you grow more self-aware, you may notice patterns that once went unquestioned. You begin to see how certain habits, relationships, or ambitions were formed not out of love, but out of survival. You recognize how often you've said yes when your body wanted to say no, how often you've silenced yourself to maintain peace. Awareness does not judge these choices, it simply illuminates them. With this illumination comes responsibility. Once you see yourself clearly, you can no longer pretend you don't know. You may feel grief for the time spent disconnected from yourself, but that grief is also a sign of reconnection. It means something within you is alive again. From that point forward, life becomes less about avoiding discomfort and more about living truthfully. Finding yourself also changes how you relate to others. You may feel less interested in surface level approval and more drawn to genuine connection. Some relationships will deepen, while others may naturally fade. This can be painful, but it is also necessary. You cannot fully become yourself while clinging to identities that no longer fit. Over time, something subtle but powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself, not because you have all the answers, but because you are willing to listen, reflect, and adjust. Life feels less like a race and more like a conversation between your inner world and the outer one. Even uncertainty feels different when you are anchored in self-understanding. In this way, life does not suddenly become easy, but it becomes meaningful. Challenges no longer feel like punishments, but invitations to grow. You stop asking whether you are ahead or behind, and start asking whether you are present, honest, and aligned. And in that shift, you realize that finding yourself was never about becoming someone new. It was about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be.